And welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name is John.
And I'm Kim.
And we thank you for stopping by on a Monday night.
Thank you.
Now, it was a busy weekend.
It was a busy weekend.
So what'd you do this weekend, Kim?
We went to see Steely Dan.
What'd you think?
It was very, very nice. It was kind of mellow. I really enjoyed the music. It wasn't one of those kind of concerts where you get up and dance. It was one of those concerts where you just listen. It was very beautiful music.
So you just sit back and enjoy it.
Sit back and enjoy, yes.
It was a good show. And it was almost, the music quality on it was pretty, I was pretty impressed with it. It was almost CD-like.
It
was very
good.
Precise, very, very good show. Good sized crowd. I think it portrayed Ironstone's amphitheater
they put on
its
a
best.
wonderful show. What, about 7,000 people there probably, would you say?
Quite a few. Quite a few.
Quite a few.
So what else did you do?
Did you take video of that? I don't even
We do.
know.
We have a little bit, the audio on it is a little bit garbled because it's a little bit too loud for our really expensive studio cameras.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so our really expensive studio cameras.
We do have a little video clip and some nice photos of Steely Dan, which I didn't realize was made up of two gentlemen. I thought one of their names was Steely Dan.
Yes. And did you know how the band got their name?
No, I don't.
We probably shouldn't say.
Is it a bad thing?
Well, it was, if you have a muscle ache, there's you get the vibrators to if you have a real muscle ache or that's where it came from.
Okay, a muscle ache. Okay.
No, the tool you use if you have a muscle ache.
Okay.
We'll just leave it there. Anyway.
Massager?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And what else went on this weekend?
What else went on this weekend? Trying to think. We had the Bear Valley Music Festival ended this weekend.
Ended its run for the 40th year.
Yes, it did. From what we've heard, they had a successful year.
We didn't get pictures of the pancake flippers. We should have.
We didn't. We had company.
We
couldn't wait for company.
So
we didn't make it up to see the pancake flippers, and we're very sorry. But we did our best to promote your pancake breakfast, so hope it did well.
And also one of the other things that we want to talk about this weekend, there was a little bit of, I guess let's read a little bit of hard news.
Sure.
All right. Okay. There was a house fire on Friday night in Arnold that basically pretty much destroyed a home in the Mill Woods area. Thoughts and prayers to the family on that.
There are some parts left, I guess, but it is pretty much destroyed. I mean, the living space. The garage had a couple of cars in it, which they were able to save. The cars.
Oh, good. Okay.
There were 4 people in the residence at the time, but they were nobody was injured.
Okay.
So they were displaced. They had to call Red Cross for them. We're waiting to hear back from EPFD on how to make donations to this family.
Okay.
The cause of the fire is under investigation, according to the fire report. And they don't have estimated damages.
Damage estimate yet. Okay.
So that's in one of those neighborhoods where the homes are pretty close together.
It is. So they did a good job. The fire personnel did a good job preventing its spread.
That happened Friday evening.
Also, for tomorrow, there is a bone marrow transplant drive going on for, and this will be held at the Delta Blood Bank. You want to talk a little more?
Sure, I'm going to find it here.
Sorry, I think I'm coming back now here.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Let me see. Dear Pine Tree viewers, I'm asking you to help me with a very important and emergent task. I need to have everyone in Calaveras County and beyond know that I am organizing a bone marrow donor drive in San Andreas at the Delta Blood Bank on Tuesday, the 12th of August, which is tomorrow. The address is 164 East Charles Street in San Andreas. This will involve only a cheek swab and will not be painful. The reason being, the reason that this person is doing this is my very dear friend Martin Chevy, who owns the Red Apple Cafe in Aptos, where I used to live, was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of leukemia this past May and has not responded to the chemo treatments he has already done. Neither of his siblings are a match, nor his only child. I was fortunate in having the support of this community about 11 years ago when our family lost our son Max to his heart condition after a bad surgery went terribly wrong. At the time, Kathy Thomas, Dr. Ken Thomas's wife, and lots of others put together a blood drive in honor
area. Please come and get your cheek swabbed. It won't take much out of your day. You could save someone's life. Save someone's life. There will be a blood drive and marrow drive in the very near future at another site. Let me see. So it will be held from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. A marrow donor registration drive in conjunction. Let me see. All ethnically diverse people are encouraged to enter the registry because the characteristics that determine whether a patient and donor match are inherited. The most likely match is with a sibling. However, 70% of patients will not find a family match. They must rely on volunteer marrow and blood stem cell donors, although it is possible for a diverse patient to match donor from any racial or ethnic group. The most likely match is someone who shares a similar heritage. Let me see. So if you have any questions, you can contact Cynthia Carlson at 510-495-4021. And that takes place tomorrow, all day tomorrow. And there's a website you can go to. If you click on the two gentlemen holding a giant fish.
Yes.
That's the biggest fish
I think that's one of the best photoshopped fishes I've ever seen.
People ask, is that a real fish?
Yeah.
If you click on that, that will take you directly to Martin's website.
A little more on traffic news. On Friday night, there was a major injury accident in the West Point area. This sent a 48-year-old Randy Kale of Ione was airlifted to Memorial North Hospital in Modesto for emergency treatment of life-threatening injuries. We haven't had a follow-up on to know how he was doing since that, but it appears that he struck a large male deer at about 55 miles an hour while he was riding a motorcycle. Okay. So that was, that'll cause quite an impact. And there's an interesting one we haven't got the report.
There was an accident last evening, correct? Motorcycle versus vehicle, wasn't there? Is that a different one, or is that the same one?
That may have been maybe a different one. But I know there was this one.
That was today.
Sorry, we haven't added up put the report up on this one yet. This one though was interesting on the report. This has happened Saturday morning. Okay. Is that the vehicle in question in this one? They think it may have been a mechanical problem because the vehicle went straight through a fence out into a field. The man had not been drinking. There was no apparent, so it just all of a sudden his car just went out through a fence. Could have been.
There was an injury accident today. That's what I was thinking of at Highway 120 and LaGrange Road. They had Highway 108 blocked for a couple of hours. The motorcycle victim, I believe, was flown to Doctors Hospital of Modesto. I don't know how serious his injuries were.
Yeah.
Probably get the report early in the morning.
Tied up the mess.
They had traffic tied up for a couple of hours. This looks like it started around 11:30 this morning and ended about 12:45 p.m.
Yeah. And a little bit of a more lighthearted news. Calaveras Grown is going to be a new sponsoring. There is going to be a new farmers market in San Andreas at the Government Center. We presume probably over by the garden, probably. I would assume.
I would think so. Yes.
That would seem to be the logical place to put it. But the inaugural one kicks off this Wednesday, August 13th, 891 Mountain Ranch Road, Government Center,
3:30
p.m. to dusk.
So go get your local farmers market veggies, fruit.
The freshest, ripest vegetables possible.
They say shop Calaveras, shop local, shop Calaveras Grown. Have you heard that song? Calaveras Grown?
And we would implore you to shop local in your advertising as well.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, you get the freshest advertising possible.
Yes, you do.
We try to have, I don't know if the ripest is quite the correct term, but
yes, correct.
So, shop local. Calaveras Grown.
Yes, Calaveras Grown. Congressman Lundgren to hold 3 August town hall meetings, including the first one will be held in Copperopolis, which will be held this week, I believe.
Tomorrow night?
This week. Is it tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night at the Old Armory.
The Copperopolis Armory
in
on Ferry Road from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
So,
he will be holding 3 town hall meetings. At the town hall, special attention will be paid to our nation's energy crisis, including how we can increase American energy production, promote renewable energy, cut red tape, and encourage efficiency.
So if you want to meet Congressman Lundgren,
yes, Tomorrow evening.
And he'll be there to sign autographs, T-shirts.
I think so.
No.
I don't know about that.
Congressman.
Maybe.
Kiss babies.
Kiss babies, yes.
Yeah, I mean, all that kind of stuff.
And they're having another, Russ Thomas has put on another meeting this week, which will be held Wednesday, like the one they had last week for tax relief on Proposition 8 and 13. That is being held this Wednesday evening, Copperopolis Firehouse at 7 p.m.
So we're going to have competing meetings?
That's Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening, the 13th. He hosted one last week with the tax assessor, Randy Metzger, and Linda, what's her name? Who was the gal that spoke?
The assistant professor here?
Yes, the assistant assessor.
The assistant assessor.
Who did a lot of the speaking. I'm sorry.
It is Leslie Daniels.
That's right.
Davis.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Leslie Davis.
They will hold another meeting this Wednesday for those of you who live in Copperopolis or even don't live in Copperopolis, those of you who would like to appeal your tax bill.
And I was talking to Supervisor Thomas after the meeting, later at a meeting after a different location when I saw him, and he says he thinks Leslie Davis is the smartest person in county government.
Really?
You know, after listening to her speak on this tax issues, she has a brain that is encyclopedic. It is just any type of arcane tax stuff.
Can you imagine that? I would never be good at things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
We have full video of last week's meeting in case you couldn't make last week's or this week's. This is a very informative meeting, which it's in regards to the whole county, not just District 5.
And
all of Calaveras County. It's informative to all Calaveras County residents.
And I think Supervisor Thomas should be commended for organizing it. And this is basically if you think that your appraised value of your home would be less than its current market value,
to bring your taxes down, you have a chance
this
to
may be
appeal
something
it.
for you.
You can go to the county clerk's office at the Board of Supervisors office.
Right. Pick up
fill out the form there.
Yep.
And they will present it to the Board of Supervisors. I think there's actually one on the agenda tomorrow that I saw, I believe, look like, for the Board of Supervisors meeting.
And also, upcoming, there will be a new television production class beginning September 9th, 2008. Yeah. So if you're sitting watching this going, man, I can do better than they do.
I can do better than they do, which everybody thinks.
This is the class for you.
Not hard to beat.
Because it might be true, but we're throwing a degree of difficulty in this one in that we do it live with no crew.
No crew.
No net.
No net.
And it's live, and we're not in the studio.
And it's from a laptop, so okay.
Yeah, and we're not there.
No, we're not there. So.
We've done this from the freeway.
Yes, we've done it from the car, from when we did our Blair Witch News.
Yes, we've
driving
done
home
it
from Oregon.
From another state.
We've done it from North Star, right?
We've done it
from Starbucks.
Yeah, so so if you think you can beat us, and you probably can in the quality of it, but then we have a few little things, little twisty things that wow, how'd they do that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so anyway. And there's new television production classes by the talented Mr. Edlark.
Yes.
Starting up September 9th, 2008. If you would like to contact him to schedule a time on that calendar and go, I know I can be the next Spielberg.
Yes.
754-4021. 754-4021. And that will get you in the class. And I think they can only handle 16 spots
They're
per
usually
month.
pretty booked. They usually get filled up. A lot of people are interested in doing video production in the area.
So what's going on tomorrow? Do we have any meetings tomorrow?
President George Bush held his weekly radio address today from China. We have the full audio address, or is it video address?
It's audio.
It's audio address on thepinetree.net. Like to click on the little flag, the White House radio, and you can listen to him speaking. Yes, right from China.
And a little bit on the Olympic notes, the times they've been turning in a pool are just unbelievable. I mean, just unbelievable. Watched a little clip today of the men's 4x100 relay. And not only did they win the gold by 8/100ths of a second, I mean, just by the slimmest of margins, came back when nobody thought they could on this one. And the split time the guy did on the anchor leg was the fastest split time ever recorded. And kind of a neat personal note, see, the U.S. owned this event for years. It was like the 4x100 was like, but then they didn't take the gold last Olympics or the Olympics before.
Okay.
So, and the interesting thing is the guy that swam the anchor leg today was on the 2 previous teams that came up short. So, it's a lesson in perseverance. If you didn't succeed the first time, you try again. If you didn't succeed the second time, you try. In the third time, he just knocked it out of the park. And I think it was, not only was it world records, it shattered the world records by so many seconds that even some of the people that the teams that didn't medal were still world records. Their losing times were still world records. So, thought that was kind of interesting.
That is interesting. Very cool.
At least to me.
Yes, it is. I haven't watched much of it. Not a big Olympics fan. Isn't that terrible? I'm not a big sports fan. Anyway, you have to watch skiing. But anyway, you still have time to enroll your child in the Mark Twain School District. School starts Monday the 20th for the Mark Twain Union School District. Mark Twain Elementary School enrollment information. They are having, they're taking in open enrollment this week for K through 8th, and they are offering education to children in our area. Once your student is enrolled, they will be assigned a teacher in their grade level. This Friday, the class list will be posted on the bulletin board outside of the main office. First day of school is Monday, August 20th. Classes begin at 8 a.m. I'm assuming that's for all of Mark Twain Unified, correct?
I would assume so. And also, there is a Board of Supervisors meeting tomorrow. And this is going to be another busy one.
Yes, it is.
And we've had a couple calls on the stuff for tomorrow. Also, the Copperopolis area, Lake Tulloch, is back on the agenda tomorrow. And this goes to the density issues, whether you can transfer underwater densities to above water land.
Now, is this for the new proposal, the new project that they're discussing tomorrow?
So this is more of the density issues there. And the one today that in some ways may impact more people is we had a gentleman from Vallecito call today on the flood, upgrading the ostensibly there's going to be upgrading where you can build in a floodplain. Basically, we're going to raise that by 2 feet above the high flood mark. What I'm going to read all the is.
Now, is this for Lake Tulloch or just in general?
This is over the entire county.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is on the surface, this one sounds pretty good. It sounds okay. Your flood insurance rates are going to go down if in fact you still qualify, for there. The problem is how he was reading it, is we have to look at this and see how what's implemented tomorrow, is that if his house burned down, because of where it's located, he would not be allowed to rebuild it. And his house was built in 1890.
Because of the flood?
Because of the flood regulations.
Oh, my goodness.
We hope, but on the surface, this one appears that it may have some similarities to the driveway slope issue, and the fact that if they go with more restrictive things without grandfathering in existing homes as far as their right to rebuild, it may render this impacts basically the entire town of Vallecito on some of these maps. Technically qualifies under a lot of floodplain stuff. So it has this potentially has some big impacts, and where there's some, if we linked in the Board of Supervisors, if you think this may impact you, there's links to the board agenda.
Well, they're actually having a public hearing on it tomorrow.
Correct.
At 1:30 p.m., which you may attend. Let me see. At 1:30 p.m. regarding the adoption of an ordinance approving revisions to Chapter 1506 flood damage prevention. So if you're interested in speaking your mind, go to the public hearing, right, at 1:30.
That's correct.
If you have concerns.
If you have concern on flooding, I know it's hard to imagine it now that it's 105 degrees outside, but come April,
I had no idea that the whole town of Vallecito was affected by that.
I didn't either until he brought it. And he says basically that area, is a fairly low line. You think of the stuff around Cosgrove Creek and the stuff that had some flooding issues down in Valley Springs, and basically he was saying how his house was built in 1890 and it's never flooded. Okay. So that's 100.
That's a beautiful home, I bet.
That's 100 and how many years?
Long time.
Yeah, a long time.
I'd love to have a home that old.
If you're looking at that 100-year floodplain stuff, he's usually looking at a floodplain. You know how they look at floodplain analysis stuff? They usually have a number of what if an area will flood, how many times during 100 years that this one may flood. it's been 100 years, and that one hasn't flooded specifically in there. So,
affect that one then, huh?
well, technically, it's still supposed to.
Okay, let me see what else they're talking about. There will be a resolution item authorizing the Calaveras County Sheriff to apply for funding from the fiscal year 08 Homeland Security Grant Program, and authorizing the execution of a grant award, including any amendments thereto with the state of California for the purpose of this grant.
Now, is Homeland Security, is that different than like a farmer with a shotgun?
I think so.
Is it? I think it is.
A continued public hearing for the Community Development Department from July 22nd regarding an appeal of the Planning Commission's June 5th approval of Project 2006-126 Tentative Subdivision Track Map and Plan Development for Abramson, Andreas, and Bernadette. A discussion and possible action regarding the introduction of an ordinance to establish regulations for activities on Tulloch Reservoir to ensure the quality of the reservoir as a resource for homeowners, public recreation, fisheries, power generation, and drinking supply is maintained, continuing from the meeting of June 10th. And then at 2:30 they will have a study session on annual review of county fees.
And these are the annual review of county fees. This is, I know as a member of the media, watching these meetings, we probably look at them a little bit of a different. We look at them sometimes as their entertainment value, not always, because we know this is serious stuff. But always the stuff on fees for the next year, it's almost as exciting as the endless discussions on CDBG block grants.
Yes.
Almost.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, I mean, if you're... Because...
So those are the main items on the agenda tomorrow, it looks like.
Because they talk about, like, scale fees and
all kinds of fun stuff.
Can we raise the fee for the permit on a water heater?
Yes.
Maybe. Could we go from... These are just pulling the numbers out of the air, but could we go from 22 to 24?
Yes.
Would the market bear that? I never know.
Does that mean you could go on through dinner?
It could. I mean, last year they were waiving. There were big discussions on. I know I'm just being lighter because sometimes these numbers. The only thing in the reality check on this is they'll be talking about some programs that, for example, may have like a $50 fee. And they talk about them for 45 or 50 minutes, and everybody's sitting in the meeting. And then at the end, you ask them, okay, so how many of these did you actually do last year?
Yes, exactly.
And they'll be like, 4.
Okay.
So basically, you had 50 people sitting there watching for half an hour for something that generated, for the entire county, maybe a few $100.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
See, the board of supervisors, they have hard jobs. Don't they?
You have to go through each one of these line by item, because then some of these have some of these fees, even though they don't really generate revenue, have political ramifications. Sorry, I digress.
Oh no, that's okay. We have the full board packet and the agenda on the pinetree.net. If you'd like to get more information on tomorrow, you'll provide it of the meeting.
That we will
on our site a little bit later after the meeting. Correct.
And we would like
to.
Are we done?
Not quite. We got enough time for a little bit of stuff.
We'd like to wish the Eddies a happy anniversary. Yes, our son was
60th,
ill, so we
right?
were able to make it. Yes, a 60th anniversary to Darlene and... Arlene. I always say Darlene because it's Dean and Arlene Eddy of Murphy's.
And so then maybe we should put them together because, like the... Ben Affleck and
Darlene. The Ben is
so they're like
I would say Darlene. I apologize for that. I don't mean to.
Brangelina.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it'll be...
Been married for a happy 60 years.
So...
Yes. Anything else?
Should we put them together like that? Does
Boating
that work?
under the influence. There was a person arrested for boating under the influence on Lake Tulloch.
And originally when Kim was talking about this morning, I thought she was talking about voting under the influence. So I was just...
boating under the influence.
Yeah, because I was thinking I could think from some people, then if they don't like the candidates, then they may have to be under the influence to actually vote.
They were voting under the influence on Lake Tulloch.
Voting.
Arrested this weekend.
Right. Well, I guess we're about out of time.
Okay.
Have a great night tonight, and we will see you back manana and live.
Thank you.
We may be here from where we are now, or we may be someplace else. It's a top secret.
We can't say anything.
Yeah.
Because all of our groupies might show up, right?
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Good night.
Thanks.